welcome to the Round 5 BigFooty Collingwood Magpies podcast. I am your exceedingly happy host, the Mighty T. Exceedingly happy for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the continued failure of the Carlton Football Club. And someone who can rejoice with me in that is Mick Malthouse's number one fan, Shpeshal Ed. Welcome back to the podcast.
G'day, everyone.
I know we've just been talking about it off air, but how happy does... Actually, no, we'll get that later. How happy does the win over Richmond make you? What did you game on Friday night?
The win against Richmond was really good. Normally with the Richmond games, I'm pretty confident. This year's one I wasn't as confident as I normally am, but it was good to get the result.
Oh, absolutely. Good to move to 2-2 and watch them languish closer to Carlton on the bottom of the ladder. We're also joined today by North Melbourne supporter LCynic, who got a chance to see his Roos get another win this season, third for the year, I think it is now, over the Sydney Swans. LCynic, how are you today?
I'm all right. Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. It's always good chatting to people on the podcast. When both teams have come off with a win, it means I can't be as condescending as I usually want to be, and as bitter towards things. But how did you find the game over the weekend? I mean, you guys really did just put the Swans to the sword.
My gob was smacked.
Yeah, wasn't expecting it at all.
I saw it on the screen. I had to pinch myself and then punch myself.
There you go. I mean, I must admit I was pretty surprised by it as well. And we'll get to this a bit later on when we're talking about North Melbourne. But I feel like there's been a lot of hype around the Roos this year. And maybe this is my naivety, but I still can't see where it's all coming from. The list is in decent shape, but I don't particularly think it has the superstar power that it needs. I mean, why do you think there's been so much hype around North's chances this year, LCynic?
Well, I'll say, first of all, I don't like to subscribe to hype. It scares me. I have the worst feelings whenever we get pumped up in media because it usually goes completely downhill. Mm-hmm. In terms of why we seem to be on the up in terms of expectation, I think it has more to do with the attacking gameplay. We had the third most points for last season.
Oh. And
we did seem to have a few unexpected results. Collingwood and Sydney, Collingwood and Geelong and Essendon at the tail end of the season when we were relatively more relative underdogs. Mm. Although that was kind of offset by the pretty shocking interstate record which we always seem to have.
And that whole bunch of close games that were lost last year. I mean, you really can't get those points back. It's pretty hard when you lose. What was it? 8 games by less than 2 kicks.
Mm.
Oh, I don't want to think about that.
But look, as I said, it is a new season, and look, maybe there's a lot of reason to be excited about North. There certainly was over the weekend, and I think they are playing good brand of football. We'll get to the discussion about the pre-match and Collingwood and North later on. But the first thing I want to talk about, I think, has been overhyped over this weekend. The incidences that were highlighted. In the Brett Macaffer's tagging role or perceived illegal tagging tactics on Trent Cotchin. Ed, I'm sure you watched the game. What were your thoughts there? What were your thoughts on it?
He did a traditional tagging role. I'm not going to say he didn't touch him. I'm not going to say he didn't scrag him and that sort of stuff. But in the end, it's not anything that hasn't been done a million times before. I mean, I was watching AFL 360 just before we got on, and they had Jordan Lewis and Bob Murphy on, who both watched the footage and said, look, they actually thought Macaffer did a really good job and they didn't think there was anything too bad in any of his tactics.
And that's the thing. I think that everything that was deemed to be illegal, I mean, he had a free kick played against him.
He had 5 free kicks, which is more than most midfielders get in that situation.
I don't think Ryan Crowley's ever had 5 free kicks against him on a single tagging job. It's just...
No.
We spoke about the umpires a bit last week with the gentleman from the Richmond board, Danog, but we don't want to harp on it and seen as a supporter base that care about the umpires. But this week I thought we got a pretty even flow with free kicks to and against. I thought that again, sure, the free kicks against Macaffer were there, but at the end of the day, the real win for him wasn't in what he was doing, scragging him, whatever. It was more getting in his head. Like he really got in Cochin's head and put him completely off. I get what you mean by the team structure point of view for Curry, but I think he's going to be overall quite handy, at least until someone like Tarrant gets back.
When is Tarrant due back?
Well, I've actually got no idea.
Okay.
What was the injury? Was it a shoulder injury? Or?
I haven't been able to look into it. It might be a shoulder injury. I haven't kept a close enough eye on that. What everyone seems to be hoping to replace Cory is Majak Dor.
Right.
And the consensus with the majority of supporters that I talk to, I think, is that they think he's ready. They think he can play a relatively full AFL game.
Yep.
I just don't think he's quite there yet in the sort of instinctual game sense.
Yeah, I think. So go on.
So I think for now, Cory will have to be the one to fill in.
I thought it was a word.
Probably on a medium level term.
Yeah. It looks like Robbie Tarrant's got a lower leg injury. They've listed him as 1 week on the AFL website. So, look, hopefully he'll be back in soon enough. Definitely Majak Dor at some point in the season will get a run. But I'm expecting Curry to line up this weekend against Collingwood, which probably means that we're going to need certainly Keefe and Frost.
And Brown's probably playing.
Well, this is the thing. I heard that today, and I thought that's a remarkable recovery considering what we initially thought.
Mine is.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. I mean, then at the same time, though, I'm hoping that if they're going to play him, he is 100%. The last thing we need is for Brown to do more damage.
We talked about the potential of Brown coming in. Any other inclusions that you'd make to the Collingwood team, Ed?
No, not really. Brown's Robert. Oh, sorry, I lie. I think Kennedy should be playing. I still don't know why he's not getting a game.
Agreed.
I'd also. The problem is, it's funny to say, but our depth is getting pretty decent at the moment. Like I personally want a player like Cole Martin in there.
Yep.
But I'm trying to think who you'd drop right now.
Well,
to get him in.
I'd see someone like Josh Thomas just came back. He had the vest, fair enough, and he's the easy sacrificial lamb.
No, I don't think they should though.
But I don't think they should do that to him. Maybe Blair.
Yeah, Blair's probably the one.
Blair's probably one that you could see coming out for someone like a Kennedy or for a Martin. Assuming we go with the same tall setup, maybe Langdon needs a week off. I think he's doing okay.
Well, if Brown comes in, then Langdon would be the one because I think Frost can play on the mediums, and of course Tuvey can play on the smalls. So that would probably, if Brown comes in, I'd say Langdon would go, and I'd say that might be the only change they make.
Aside from that, I think the rest of the team performed well. I haven't been I'm not a massive Goldsack fan, but I thought he was okay on the weekend.
No, see, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, my thing is that I like his versatility. I just don't love the low impact games, and I think there's more of them than high impact. But look, he had 16 touches on the weekend, and he had, I think it was 4 tackles. So I can't argue with what he did. So I think he did quite well. Tuvey's obviously playing better. Langdon's maybe the one, but yeah, it probably Jared Blair, who really off 11 touches may not have done.
Not enough
to keep his spot, especially with a guy like Kennedy who's just banging the door down. What about yourself, LCynic? What are your thoughts? Do you think you'll have many changes for the North lineup?
The main issue for us is providing that Jack Zebo actually gets up this time. Who goes out for him? Because there are so many calls for different types of players to go out. But no one can agree because no one can really think of someone who didn't do their job. And even a like for like doesn't seem to be working so far. The consensus, probably Robin Nahas might be the unfortunate out.
Do you think Nahas will go out?
If only in the case that we need the extra tour.
It'll certainly be interesting if North Melbourne decide to go tall, because as you say, we really like when teams bomb the ball into our forward line. It's a little bit of a relief for us than the smalls who just whiz around. So
yeah.
Look, it's going to be interesting.
But then you have to contend with Darren Black anyway.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I mean, and that's the thing. And he's a tall, slash small who plays like a small. So, look, it's going to be an interesting matchup because you see these two teams, and largely, I think we're in that same 6 to 12 bracket on the ladder.
Yeah, North Melbourne have improved a lot, and most would agree that we've dropped off a little bit. And I'm still personally struggling to get a real genuine read on our form. I reckon I can see where Buckley's trying to take it. I'm still not 100% sure on whether they can actually deliver at the moment. I still think we need a big lift from obviously Cloke. I know Swan turned it around a little bit, but I still think we need more from him. At the moment, it just concerns me. Again, like I'm trying to take the Richmond game out of it because it's just one game. If I see the same thing, obviously, against North Melbourne, then we're starting to see a pattern. But taking the Richmond game out of it, it still looks like Pendlebury is just grabbing everyone and trying to drag them along with him.
Kind of like Buckley.
Yeah. So I know Beams was much better, Ball was better, even Sidebottom, who I've had a bone to pick with this year, but even Sidebottom was better. Everyone was better in that game, but that's, at the moment, I'm just treating that as a one-off. Unless I see it again against North, then in the end, Pendlebury's still trying to do everything on his own.
No, you're totally right. Consistency is king for us this year, and it's something that I don't think we'll see often, but it has to be replicated this week, and then continuously. We've got to see the same effort from the boys each week, and if we get beaten on our merits, so be it. But
yeah, that's right.
Just want to see that effort. Geelong, we showed it against Geelong, except with those errors. We definitely showed it against Sydney. 3 weeks of good football in a row we've had, I think, with the Richmond week being the standout. So let's see if we can do it again against North. All right, let's finish off with some quick questions, some general questions from around the football world. I'll start with you, LCynic. Do you like the idea of names being on the players' jumpers?
Yes, because I have the memory of a seed.
Well, she had the name really
Look, it's certainly going to be different watching that, actually, I must say. I don't know if I love it, but it's certainly going to be different. Okay. Ed, should... You don't like this question. Should Carlton re-sign Mick Malthouse, or should he resign immediately?
2 answers, yes and no.
From
a personal perspective, I reckon they should re-sign him so they can stay down longer.
Yep.
If Carlton is
attached at the cuticle.
hunting for the coach they actually want for the future, because in the end, if they get rid of Malthouse, then they have every excuse to end up in the bottom 4 and get themselves some good picks and rebuild from there, and hopefully I shouldn't say hopefully, but from a Carlton perspective, do a better job with their top picks, because in the last 10 years they haven't been great. Much like Melbourne, actually. They haven't been great with the top picks that they've had.
Nope.
But I don't suspect that Carlton are that smart. I reckon they'll keep Malthouse there, which is good for everyone.
And look, the thing that I think was really funny with the Carlton scenario is the fact that he obviously had no clue how to read their list, because he must have thought it could have been successful, which I just think is. I just think that's bonkers.
He basically intimated that they were a little bit of luck away from a premiership, which was just staggering.
I'm going to leave it there because the Carlton bash can go on all night, and we're running out of time. LCynic, I'd like to thank you for coming on board, and as I do with all of our guests, I want to wish you good luck, but I just can't. So hopefully you enjoy the game.
I would too, but I would be betraying my fellow brethren.
Exactly right. Ed, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on, and this is a cordial invitation to you to come back for the Carlton podcast in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I might need to.
I think you're going to have to, because we're going to dedicate some time to it, but thanks for coming on.
No worries, thanks for having me.
In the meantime, my closing statement, Nathan Buckley might have taken a premiership list and turned them into a top 8 list, but at least they're not the worst list in the league. Yeah. Guys, have a good night. This is the Mighty T signing out.
See you later.
See ya.
Hello, this is the round 5 trade draft Fred, and I am got a bone to pick with the bloody umpires and the AFL. As we all know, been a few things going on with two major things: Travis Cloke and Brent Macaffer with his tagging. And we've seen Cloke in the first 4 weeks get pulled back, scragged, hands over the shoulders, holding his hands, and Captain Fuckwit of the umpires and has given one lousy free kick. Now when the Collingwood went there and asked Hayden Kennedy in AFL to explain, I said, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing to Cloke. He just had to work harder. Idiots. Then last night, Macaffer, last game in round 4 against Richmond, that we see Macaffer tag Cochin, who only had 15 disposals, 5 free kicks. That's 8 earned. He got 5 free kicks for just holding, and this kind of hard tag has been doing. It's been happening for years. Lang has done it. Crowley's done it. Sydney's done it. But the whole media has bitched and whinged about CAF doing when they praise Ling and Crowley doing it, which makes me getting sick. And then they go to the AFL, and the AFL, hey, Kennedy comes back and says, oh, it's not wrong, it's illegal. Oh, funny how you blast Collingwood for doing something, but you won't help us over the Cloke thing. That makes me sick, and that's what pisses me off for my rant this week. So, see you next round for round 6, and go Pies. Ooh yeah.